Happy Valentine's month, everybody. I'm the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to share with you some of my favorite Valentine's Day episodes from TV shows or even movies. Not everything is all lovey-dovey. Sometimes Valentine's Days deal with heartache and everything. So, some episodes will be romantic and lovey-dovey, while others will be very sad and heart-wrenching and stuff. But love is love. It doesn't always come with smiles and giggles and glee. So, I'm here today to talk to you about Nowhere Man, episode 4, Something About Her. So, in this episode, Thomas Vale, after nearly escaping those crazed people who have erased his life, he's kind of like taking it on the down low in this episode. He has found a job being a taxi cab driver. He's just trying to get his bearings before he can start investigating these people again, this organization, and trying to get his life back. So he's just driving around, he's talking to the dispatcher and stuff, and he doesn't pay attention to what he's doing, and he hits a little girl on her bike with his car. She's in a lot of pain. She says her leg hurt. He calls 911. And so when the ambulance comes up, I was just kind of like, what year is this thing supposed to be in? Because the ambulance is like a very old-fashioned kind. It looks like a hearse. And so I'm just like, well, that's a weird design. And so the little girl, they're talking about her leg and everything, and then they bring out an oxygen tank. I'm thinking to myself, why does she need to be on the oxygen tank? And she got hit by a car, and she's still talking and moving around, and her leg just hurt. And then it happens. They gas him with the oxygen tank. It's like some type of sleeping agent. It's that organization again, posing as the ambulance people. But then here's a twist. The little girl's in it on it too. She's a recruit. So somehow you just gotta go with the 90s writing. So she was just randomly in the street and they knew he would be on that route. And then he hits her with the car. So basically what it is, they was eavesdropping on his call to where they would know where he'll be at and stuff. And there was probably a tracker in the car. Then again, this was the 90s, but if cops had trackers in their cars, then who knows? You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So they knew he would be around this route, and they just had her aimlessly just riding around. And it's so funny when she's talking to the ambulance dude. She's just she's talking like a grown adult, and she's so cavalier about everything. She's like, I got my dress dirty, and my mom's gonna be mad. She's like, well, I better get home if my mom gets mad. See you guys. I'm just like, no freaking way. Give that girl an Oscar, dude. That was just a funny performance. I love that part in this episode. So, of course, now they have their man, and they want the hidden agenda negatives. So they take him to a facility where it's operated by a man known as Mr. Gray and a Dr. Moen. And so the doctor is one of those extreme doctors you'll see in a movie or a TV show where he's so happy, he's the villainous doctor. He's so happy that his invention works and he just wants to push it to the limit and do whatever it takes just to make himself more famous. You know what I'm saying? And so what they're doing is they're implanting false memories in him. They need some type of edge that will have him give over the negatives. But the thing is, he doesn't have them on him. He hides somewhere or he goes somewhere. And so they have no idea where it is. So they're trying to get some leverage. How do they do that? Well, they hook him up to some type of VR machine and they're literally brainwashing him. Like I said before, they're implanting false memories. And this false memories, he was never married to Allison. And these false memories, he meets a new woman named Karen in a pond area. She's a photographer, he's a photographer. They bond instantly. But here's the funny thing about it. Karen is a real woman on the outside. She is working for them and reading line from line of what she's supposed to say in this imaginary dream-like state that Thomas is having. It's very well put together, man. And so she's just doing her acting chops, just reading line from line as he's envisioning all this stuff happening. Think of it as the Weapon X program in Wolverine. It's like that. And so in this simulation that he's looking through VR, it's like he is imagining that he's in the pond. He sees her, she falls in, and he rescues her. They bond instantly. They find out they're photographers, and they really like start to like have a connection. He's happy, he's thrilled, he's falling in love for the first time in his mind and everything. And so on the outside, when they take breaks and stuff, the woman Karen, she's played by Carrie-Anne Moss, one of her first like acting gigs, and it's weird because I don't recognize her with long hair. I'm always used to seeing that short Trinity Matrix hair, and so she does a really good job in this episode. And her character is very sassy in real life. Like she does not like the doctor dude at all, and she keeps like sassing him, talking about like while you was in college, like studying all this, I was busy like getting laid and some stuff like that. Just like really hitting it to him and stuff. But the virtual simulation of her is really sweet and caring and stuff. And so like it turns out like every now and then they will wake him up from the simulation and place him in like a hospital, and they're all like, is this woman your girlfriend? And to see if the program worked, if he actually believe in it. And so he's all like, no, wait, yes, and everything. So the program is working. And as he wakes up in the hospital, he's wondering how he got there and stuff. And the nurse doesn't tell him, but he just sees pictures all around of Karen and stuff. And he really is starting to believe that is his girlfriend. So they put him back in the simulation again. And so like um he is like, so they're having like all these like scenarios and like all this is and that. But then after some like love making and this and that, she goes into like another room and thinks she trips or falls or something like that. He calls her Allison by mistake, and she's all like, "Who is Allison?" And he's all like, uh, uh I'm not sure. See, his memories are starting to come back. So they have to like up their ante and like re-brainwash him stronger now. But there's a problem. The organization, they want results now and they want those negatives. So they're pushing up the timetable. The doctor thought he had a week. He now only has a couple of hours at the best. And he is trying his best to like brainwash him as strongly as possible. So they do it again, and it works. It really works. So now it's time to wake him up from the simulation and have him um, act stuff out. They make like a fake room with him and his negatives and stuff like that. And there's been an accident. Karen has now been hurt. She's been taken to the hospital. They'll like drug him again, take him to the hospital, pretend like he drove there, and then so like when he's there in the hospital, he is talking to the staff, and they're all like, "Yeah, she had an accident, but she keeps talking about you over and over." And he's all like, "Yes, she's very special to me." He is beyond brainwashed now, and so like then, as she gets discharged, he's walking out with her, strolling around with like her in the wheelchair. They're so lovey-dovey. And so like then she gets kidnapped by a bunch of goons. This was the leverage that the people want for him. So of course what they're gonna do is in exchange the negatives for Karen. So, but on the outside, the organization is getting pissy. They want results quicker. Now um, something like the organization is really like just owned to them, right? And so Karen on the outside, she's starting to act kind of differently now. It's almost like she's starting to like actually fall for Thomas in real life. And so like when they put him in a room, and Mr. Gray is pretending to be like, the head dude who wants like the negatives in exchange for Karen. He's like talking to her to make sure the program's working. Do you love her? Stuff like that. And then he starts asking about hidden agenda and everything, and Thomas all like, y'all already know about hidden agenda. If you already know who I am and the photograph, stuff like that. So they want the photographs, and they want the negatives. They already got the photographs. But then Thomas does something interesting. He takes off his watch because he's just frantic and everything, and he's feeling around with it. And he looks on the back of it. It's engraved from his wife, Allison. And then he's starting to have flashes in his head of Allison. The program is not working no more. His memories are starting to flood back. And so, like, they implanted 4 months of fake memories within like a couple of hours and a couple of days of his head. So everything's just like chaotic now, and he's acting like crazed and stuff. So they sedate him. And now Gray and the doctor are in trouble. The organization's all like, look, you failed and you're loose ends. And he tells the doctor that. So the doctor's kind of like, crap, dude, like, I don't want to die just because, like, if we were just given like a couple more days, we would have got this. But he's all like, look, this is how that organization works, and we have to pay the price. So the doctor comes up with an idea. To fake it to where they didn't fail, he actually had some type of heart attack. He said there's a drug that's experimental, it leaves no traces in your blood, and if they inject him with it, it will look like he had a massive heart attack. Then by that time, him and Mr. Gray will flee, and even if the organization finds out, they'll be long gone. So he goes to get the drug to like put inside like Thomas and stuff. But this is where Karen comes in, the real Karen. She has fallen in love with Thomas. Like just those couple of days of spending with him and talking about him and how lovey-dovey and all this, it made her kind of have like a Florence Nightingale effect on him, kind of. So she comes in with a pistol and she's looking to shoot both the doctor and Gray. The doctor, she shoots and kills first, and then she tells Gray to get away from Thomas. He doesn't, and she shoots him. So then she goes and she unties like Thomas and gets him off the gurney thing. As he's starting to come to slowly, Gray wasn't fully like he didn't die from the gun wound. He was just like wounded and stuff. So he grabs the vial of the toxin type stuff, and he stabs her dead in the back with it. She turns around and she shoots him in the gut. Now he's finally dead. She tries her best to get Tom out of there, but the poison is taking effect too fast, and she collapses on the ground. He is kind of remembering her, but kind of not, because his memories are like increasingly flooding back. And so he just like lays her there lying, confused and dazed as he's hearing lights and stuff going on. It's that organization probably about to come. So he opens the door to the garage thing and he just like leaves. This was such an interesting, odd show. It's a man struggling for survival, a man struggling to regain his life from an organization that can wipe it away within like a snap of a finger. Now, like I said before, there were times where this show got kind of weird and kind of stupid, but it was kind of one of them shows that was ahead of its time. And I think if it was made now, and they would take out all the strange, weird, goofiness kind of stuff. Like it wasn't really so much goofy. It was a little too far fetched, and people really wasn't sure what this show was going to be about because many people had never seen The Net. If they would have kept it more grounded like The Net, I think it would have survived like multiple seasons and stuff. But it is a shame because this is actually the first thing I ever saw Bruce Greenwood in, and he's a really good actor and stuff like this. Now, wasn't that romantic? Or depressing, depending on what kind of video I just talked about. Okay, well, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And bye.